They say the sea has a way of making you thirsty, not just for water, but a story worth telling. I spent 3 years and 4 months navigating the blue and still active. And if there's one thing I learned, it's that the best truth is found at the bottom of a glass. I'm Pedro de Lesma Jr., and this is Drinking with the Sailor. Before hearing from the fleet, my very first episode, the spotlight is on me. I'm sharing my story, the highs, the lows, and the bottles that got me through them. So pull up a chair, grab a drink. You're watching Drinking with the Sailor. This channel is about two things: testing the best spirits and give my fellow sailors a place to tell stories they can't tell anywhere else. How we rate a drink is 1 out of 5 anchors. I went on my first distillery tasting and tour, and I couldn't help but to see what Frey Ranch had to offer. So I bought all the bottles I could get my hands on to start this channel off with a bang. All right, first bottle, they're straight bourbon whiskey. 90% proof, mash bill of 66% corn, 11.4% winter rye, and 12% two-row barley. On those, I get a bit of pepper spice, caramel for sure, a bit of oak, some brown sugar, but we're sailors. Before we sip, let's raise a toast to all ships, to small ships, to all the ships at sea. But the best ship is friendships. May they always be. A little rough, but goes down okay. I can definitely taste the citrus a bit once it goes down. I rate this 3.5 out of 5 anchors. The first bottle out the way, let's get into my story. I'm a Texas boy born and raised in Pasadena. For the first 25 years of my life, I never stepped foot outside the state line. I grew up between two houses, my mom's and my dad's, dealing with the usual up and downs, but my real home was with my cousins, Mikey, Josh, Daniel, and Ian. When my grandma passed away, it felt like the floor dropped, moving back with my dad to finish high school. Moving on to the second bottle. They're straight rye whiskey. Bottle and bond, 100 proof. Mash bill is 100% winter rye. I got one already open. On my nose, vanilla, a lot of cream, very earthy, kind of mixed with oak and mint. It's the best way to. Yep, it goes down very easy. Definitely recommend for somebody that's barely getting into rye. Straight rye whiskey gets 4 out of 5 anchors. With the second bottle out of the way, I graduated from Clear Lake High School, class of 2017, and I had actually found a path. I was a surgical aide in the cardiac cath lab at Clear Lake Regional. I was helping save lives right at the heart of the medical field. But I had made a choice. I left stability to go work for my dad as a hydro tester. Big money, hard work, real industrial grit. Plus, my cousin RJ worked there too. Now, onto the third bottle. They're straight bourbon whiskey, single barrel. It's a distiller's reserve. The proof is 129.88. Their mash bill is a 5-grain bourbon with oat. On the nose, reminds me of like a big red gum, but that's just because I think it's the cinnamon. Definitely some spice in that. I'm surprised with the high proof. It's still very earthy, and the ethanol doesn't take over. It's a very smooth finish. I give this bourbon 4 out of 5 anchors. While I was working with my dad, then came a reality check. I lost that job because of a hair follicle test, and in an instant, I went from a steady paycheck to what now? I was 25 years old, stuck in the same path I had always been, the path leading nowhere. I needed a hard reset, a horizon I couldn't see from Pasadena. Now, on to the fourth bottle. The straight rye whiskey, single barrel. This comes in at 122.58 proof. Mash bill of 100% rye. On the nose, kind of reminds me of like a wintergreen, or I'd say like wintergreen zins, or like a green tea a bit. You can definitely smell like caramel or toffee, but still at a high proof, very earthy. It goes down very smooth. I give the rye single barrel a 4.5 out of 5 anchors. Learning from all the dumb decisions I had made at 25, an age where most people are just settling in, I decided to ship out. I joined the United States Navy. I'm now 29 years old, and for the first time, I'm seeing the world I only used to read about. The fifth bottle, their cask strength straight bourbon whiskey, farm strength uncut. This one comes in at 124.76 proof. The mash bill, 66.6 dent corn, 10% winter wheat, 11.4% winter rye, and 12% two-row barley. On the notes, a bit of vanilla. Kind of reminds me of a hot honey. It goes down very hot, but it's very smooth. And once again, the natural flavor of the grains mixed with a bit of caramel. This bottle gets 5 out of 5 anchors. Before we get into the sixth bottle, I want y'all to know this channel isn't just about booze, but the stories that bring us to the table. So, with no further more, let's get into the sixth bottle. Their malted grain series single barrel. This comes in at 131.76 proof. Aged for 6 years and 3 months. But before we get in tasting, let's end this with a toast to the roads that bring us here and to the ships that take us there, from the Texas heat to the deep blue sea. Cheers, guys. So, on the nose, definitely some type of sweet smell, like I'd say hazelnut mixed with vanilla. But the best way to say this reminds me of a good old bowl of Frosted Flakes cereal. But coming in at the high proof, it definitely does not overpower the whiskey, especially like more of your allocated bottles. This bottle gets a 5 out of 5 anchors.